So I'm going to do theme music. Okay, so we're going to start the show in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's the broadcast button. I want theme music. Bloopers already. Winning.
Jocelyn, do you need me to record anything?
Oh, no, we're good.
Okay.
Okay, all right. For realsies this time. Here comes the theme music. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Gamers Inn. Come on in, pull up a chair next to the fire. It looks like you've had a long journey. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and joining me this week, filling in for Ryan, is the wonderful, the one, the only, Jules of Tauren Think Tank fame. Do you have any idea how many times I have to say that in my head? Like, Tauren Think Tank. It's like a tongue twister, especially after I've had a beer or two.
A couple cocktails and a Friday night, just say triple T. It works great for me.
Oh, perfect. All right. Even then, by the end of the show, I'll be like, triple T.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's like our first time actually doing a podcast together that we've known each other for like 3 years.
Yeah, some
awesome.
Insanely long time. I remember you were like the first nerd I met in person at Nerdtacular back in 2012, and it was like amazingly random. We just sat down and I was like, hi, I'm Jocelyn. Hi, I'm Jules. I'm like, we're going to be friends for life.
I feel like this is the whole like Fox and the Hound. We will be friends forever.
I'm nodding enthusiastically.
I'll take your word for it. I can't see you on my thing. I can see you on the stream though.
Okay.
And you're looking beautiful tonight, as always.
Thank you. Why are you sucking up?
I got it. We're having some cocktails. We're good.
True.
We're hanging in.
That's true. So before we get into what we're playing, what we've been doing this week, what has been going on, it's going to be really Blizzard heavy, guys. I'm just warning you. Jules is like the WoW queen. So we are going to go heavy into WoW, heavy into Hearthstone, heavy into Lords of War, which was concluded today. And wow. But so we're going to go heavy into that. Jules is going to tell me all the things. So just so you're prepared. Wow, heavy day. But before we jump into all that, do you want to just tell people really quickly about what Tauren Think Tank is, what you guys talk about, and where you're taking it when you're coming back?
Yes. So Tauren Think Tank is a podcast about World of Warcraft, but it focuses on the player. And not a lot of shows really kind of focus on the interpersonal side of interacting on an MMO situation. Mm-hmm. And that's what the concept kind of became. And it just has blossomed into an amazing discussion show about the things that gamers face in everyday life, from having a problem with their raid team to having social anxiety to speak on voice chat. And so it's become a really just an amazing situation that I never expected and I absolutely love. Right now, it's kind of going through a bit of a transition. My co-host decided that he was going to leave the show a couple weeks ago. And so actually, we're coming back after like a 2.5-week hiatus tomorrow night.
Which, I mean, really? 2.5 weeks for a hiatus? That's it? That's a really quick turnaround.
The thing is that I needed time. I didn't know that this was coming. So it was a little bit of a regroup. But then I also didn't have the setup to be able to live stream on my computer. And so with the help of some amazing friends and people who are willing to give me a hand, I've gotten everything changed around in my studio. So now I can live stream this show. And so the plan for Tauren Think Tank is going to be, I'm still working on finding my permanent co-host, but I have a couple people who I've really I've spent some time talking to, and I think they could be a really good fit, but they're both very different people.
Oh,
and so,
interesting.
Yeah.
I want to ask who, but I don't know if I can.
Well, I can tell you that the one of them is Mark Honan, who has done some of our audio clips and bits for the show. He's fantastic.
He is great. We actually, I was playing with a friend of mine, and we started new tunes over on Erie Peak, right?
Yes.
I have tunes all over the place. I'm so bad. And we were playing and we were like level 2 and he came over and he was like, because we'd been tweeting about it and stuff and tweeting our character names and saying, if anyone's around, we're night elves, yay.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, let me fly you to Stormwind. Oh, you've never been here? Well, I'm going to show you all around. And he was just the nicest person ever, just hanging out, being awesome and being like, so welcome to the Alliance.
We have cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Can I get you some tea?
Please, let's have some tea and have some moments around Stormwind today.
Exactly.
Yes. There's and he is amazing. He's been a dear friend of mine for several years, and I actually met him at BlizzCon last year. And
Nice.
so he is going to be guest hosting with me coming back to the show next week. And then the following week, I'll actually be announcing on the show tomorrow night who is going to be the other guest host who
Ooh.
is in contention. And I'm just kind of relying on the audience at this point to give me their feedback and what they like, because the tone of the show is very specific and kind of particular.
Right.
So that's what we're doing.
And I mean, I love the concept of Tauren Think Tank because there's so many shows that cover what's going on, the news, what people are doing, how to do things in WoW. And it's just like, sometimes I feel like a lot of people not necessarily forget that there's a person behind the game, but it's easily overlooked, I think, of just like the dynamics between people and, whether they're the same dynamics as like you and I interacting in real life versus you and I interacting in WoW. So, yep. And I mean, like, I don't necessarily think that I'm a different person in WoW, but I act differently because I'm not as confident in WoW as I am in real life. So yes. I'm a little bit more reserved and I'm trying to, break out of my shell a little, but I feel like there's just so much that I don't know. So I'm just like, I just kind of stay in the background a lot. I talk in guild chat all the time, but I don't usually talk about WoW in guild chat. I just say like, oh, hey, da-da-da, how's everybody? What's going on? So I'm vocal in that way, but I'm not like, oh, you should go here and do this thing. Cause I'm just like, I have no idea. And it was really funny when everyone was doing those, the like / played cause 10 years is coming up or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, I have like 300 days. And I'm like, 35. I'm like, I've only been playing for like 2 years. I'm trying really hard, guys, but there's so much to learn.
And I don't envy the path that you have to take as a, 2-year veteran of WoW to get up to speed to someone who is an 8-year or a 9-year veteran of WoW. And I think a lot of times we forget what it's like to be a new player and to not know what everybody else is talking about, because one of the things that happens when you interact with people is there's a lot of nostalgia that goes around where it's like, did you remember when we used to raid 40-man Molten Core and everybody had to raid for 4 hours and it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. Or when people talk, because I love PvP and people talk about, oh, do you remember, or like Horde always loses in Alterac Valley. And I'm like, why? What's the problem?
What's the problem?
Oh, I hate
it's
that
hard.
map. So it's so funny. Like, I mean, for instance, I just started raiding, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Yeah. Actually, you know what? We're just going to run right into what I'm playing, because what I'm playing is partly WoW. So I just started raiding 5 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
And so we have a regular Wednesday night raid. It's so much fun. It's all people like me who've only been playing for a short time and have never raided before and have a lot of kind of, not necessarily like social issues, but are just in the same situation that I'm in, where they don't feel comfortable jumping into a guild group because they haven't been playing long and they've never raided. So whenever someone says, oh, who wants to come do Siege of Orgrimmar? It's like, F no. Like,
yes.
Like
it's hella intimidating to go into a raid group because the expectations are so high. Mm-hmm. Most people are going to be like, don't stand in crap. Don't do
I even struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah, because it's something that you haven't done. You've been raiding for 5 weeks. You're still probably just learning what the heck it means to go and kill a boss with 10 other people, or 9 other people, or 25 other people.
And I mean, like, I play a hunter, which enough people make fun of anyway. And so I play a hunter. I've never trapped anything in my life, because when you play strictly like solo questing, you burn through enemies. You never have to think about crowd control or any of that kind of stuff. Like I never used like multi-shot, like ever, misdirection and deterrence. Like none of these things ever factored in because I just put my pet on tank and go kill things and never, ever, ever, ever die. So I'm like, and same thing. I learned about flasks.
Yes.
And enchants, like literally 5 weeks ago.
Yep.
And I'm just kind of like, well, at least I knew about well-fed.
Yes, at least you knew that you had to have a food buff when you walked in the door. But
exactly.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure you have all the noodles because, you know, when you're me, you're going to die a lot and then that buff goes away.
Let me ask you this, though. How did you get started with this raid team?
I made it.
You made it yourself.
I'm like, I want to raid, so I'm going to pick and choose from people that I know are new or, you know, are similarly minded. I mean, Nevermore is an officer in AIE and she's on my raid team, and that's just because she's my bestie. So I was just like, Nevermore, can you come play with me?
Yeah.
So she's like the one exception to the rule, and she just loves to play WoW and loves me too. So obviously, when I was like, do you want to come play? She's like, yes. So with that one exception, everybody is kind of in this whole like new, not really big into raiding type place. And I kind of knew that there were quite a lot of people, especially AIE has what's called New Braid. And so it's just anyone in AIE who wants to, on Saturday nights, go into Siege of Orgrimmar. And I think they do like progression on Friday nights. So they'll do like wing 2 or 3, but Saturday night is always wing 1, and it's just like whoever wants to come can come and learn and have fun. And they're up to like 75 people that go every week. Like it started with one group of us, and it was just way too late for me. It started midnight my time, and it ended up being too much of a commitment for me. So I did go twice to New Braid actually. And it was interesting and fun, but I was way outclassed there. So I was like, you know what? I just want to start at vaults and start at the very beginning of Pandaria and just learn it. I want to do it slow. I don't want it to be homework for anyone. I just want to kind of figure it out on our own. And we have Nevermore, who has been absolutely fantastic, and I've been doing some research too. So basically, like, we go into a fight, we try it once or twice. If we can't figure it out, then we're like, okay, Nevermore, like, what mechanic are we missing? Like, what are we doing wrong? And then she'll fill us in. But it's much more of a learning experience than just a go in, blow through, farm, kill as fast as you can sort of thing. So
that is amazingly cool. Like
Thank you.
People, yeah, I love that, because I think that there are a lot of people who are afraid to do that, afraid to get into it, afraid to just say, yeah, we are new and it's okay. Mm-hmm. And because I run into that all the time with people who are like, I want to raid. I've never done it. People make fun of me because I don't know how to raid. And it's like, well, but that's not cool, because this game should be about that. And I think the changes that are going to happen in Warlords are going to make it a lot easier for people who haven't been raiding for 5, 7, 10 years.
I agree. I think a lot of the changes that they're making in Warlords, and to PvP as well, because I find it very daunting where I don't have like hours and hours and hours available to play every week. I find that it's really hard to keep up with both raiding and PvP, and I think the gear changes are going to be huge. I'm going to be able to do both, and it's just going to switch on the fly, and I don't have to worry about gear sets, and it's going to make it a whole lot easier for me to just sit down and play, which is what I want to do.
Yes. That's what the game should be.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just be what you want to do. I am so excited at the stat changes on gear. Because it became a chore when you're a raider and you want to, like, I raid as a healer. I've always raided as a healer.
I
go
tried.
Yeah.
I had to fill that role because I have a 90 priest, I have a 90 hunter, and I have a 90 monk. And so I tried, because we were down a healer to heal last week or the week before. I can't remember. Anyways, I was so bad. I was trying so hard because I want to heal more than anything in my life. Like, DPS is fun, but like I just really enjoy the role of healer. I play a lot of Smite, and that's always my favorite characters to play in Smite is the healer support role. I love being like, oh, you think you're going to die? Not anymore. Boof.
And it's amazing. I love playing a healer and everything. I do. It's just one of the things that I do. And I do it with Heroes of the Storm is like, I tried all this DPS stuff and I'm like, forget this. I'm just going to play the Lily healer thing. And it's like awesome. So,
Oh,
but
Garrett hates Lily so much. Because of this,
like,
what is it, like speed boost or something you get to run away when you get
oh,
damaged or
you're
something?
faster. You're
Yeah.
just faster in general. So it's like, bye-bye.
And you're this like adorable little panda baby thing. And it's just like, oh man, yeah, I can see how that'd be frustrating.
I literally like outran a group of 4 that were chasing me, and I'm just like, "You're not gonna kill me because I'm gonna keep healing myself." And I ran into my gate, and they were like, "Damn it!" So yeah, that was pretty epic. But I raid as a healer, and so what happens is that as a raider, if you're doing anything in normals or even heroics, because I was a heroic raider for a while, is that you've got to do your dailies, you've got to get your gear, you've got to get all the things you got to do to get your valor points,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't do dailies as a healer because I can't kill anything.
Oh my god, that's so true.
I can't kill anything. And so I was so frustrated. They're like, oh, just dual spec. And I'm like, F that. I don't want to have to go find another set of gear and then
Yeah.
have to do all that stuff so that I can kill things because I ain't killing anything in my healer gear. And so
Just dual spec.
now,
Just like do the game twice. What's your problem?
I know. It's just so frustrating. And so the changes are going to make a world of difference for someone like me because then, I switch specs and my gear shifts.
Yay!
So it was just like it was the thing I needed to do. So yeah, and I love this game. I've loved this game for almost 9 years now.
Oh, so
And
you're one of those.
I am. I mean, I started like 3 months before Burning Crusade came out. That's when I
Wow.
started playing WoW. Yeah. So and you gotta love this game to be able to do a podcast about it every week.
Very, very true.
You do. So yeah, I love it. I'm so excited for the expansion. I'm done with Mists of Pandaria. I'm
Are
good.
you? I'm not, only because it's taken me so long to really get into it. When Mist dropped, I was still like level 65 or 70. Like I wasn't even max level like for Cataclysm.
Yep.
So I'd only been playing like a couple months when Mist came out. And it was intimidating is a very good word for it.
Yes.
And then so now like we played Vaults, beat Vaults. Now we're in Terrace, and we've beat the first 2 bosses in Terrace, and we're on the water one, Lishi.
Yes,
That
Lacey.
hides. Yeah, that's fun.
She's a pain in the butt.
She's such a pain in the butt, and she's so annoying. I'm running away. Like, oh my god.
Just wait till you get to the next one. It's even worse.
Oh, is it?
Shah.
Oh, see, I want to kill a Shah. I've only ever killed one Shah in a dungeon. Like, I've never done the Shah of Anger, the world boss. Like, I just like, oh man, I want to kill you so bad. You're so big.
It's like the Shah of annoyance is what it is. So,
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, you'll enjoy that fight because they take you that fight. The next one is going to take you a chunk of your raid off the map,
Mhm.
and you got to go kill everything that's over there as a team, and then you got to come back. And if you don't, you all die. And then everyone's like, okay, you wipe. So
Yeah, geez. Oh, this sounds so much fun. So we we're almost through Terrace. We're gonna try to do it tomorrow. And this is the other thing that I love. Like we scheduled 2 hours on Wednesday nights to just kind of learn, get as far as we could, and leave it at that. And we're having so much fun that we're like, oh, okay, well, we didn't quite make it all the way through. We still have 2 more bosses. Do you guys want to do it on Sunday? And like it's happened to us twice now, and we're like, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just like, bonus raid nights, and oh man, it's just so much fun.
I'm so happy that you're having fun raiding.
Yeah.
That is cool.
It's really cool. So I'm really looking forward to Warlords. And speaking of Warlords, we have the new Lords of War that came out today. It was episode 5, I think, because there's 5 of them all together, right?
Yes.
Yes. And it is the epic conclusion. And oh my god, I was almost crying. Like,
Oh, I feel so bad. I hadn't had the time to watch it. I've watched all 4 of them prior to this one.
oh, okay.
And
Well, then I won't spoil it. I shouldn't spoil it anyway, because you guys should all seriously just go watch it. But so the first 4 have all been detailing basically the leaders of the Iron Horde, or kind of highlighting 4 of them, because there's many clans of orcs, and they've been really, really interesting, really cool backstories, just love letter to people like me who love the lore of Warcraft. Mm-hmm. And so they've been really, really cool. And then so this conclusion was the Alliance side and like the Draenei side. And I was just like, oh, I I loved it so much. And again, I know I've said this probably like 1,000 times on this show, but if you have not read Rise of the Horde, go read Rise of the Horde right now. Christy Golden is a goddess. Read it.
Have you read War Crimes? Have you gotten
I
there
have,
yet?
yeah. I read War
Oh,
Crimes, yeah.
so good.
I
So good. I love it. It's the story of this game is definitely. I mean, I am not a lore nerd. I don't know a lot of the lore, but I definitely appreciate a good story. And the Lords of War series has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And so yeah, definitely recommend it. If you guys have been on the fence, not sure about it, it's gonna lead you up into what we're about to embark on in Warlords.
Yeah. I'm a huge lore nerd. I've been reading all of the books. So, because I found like, and I've talked about this on the show before, so we won't go too far into it, but the actual progression through leveling doesn't really give you a lot of story. You get a lot of like little story and hints about things, but most of the dungeons and raids are where the main expansion story is. Like, I mean, I went all the way through Burning Crusade, Lich King, and Cataclysm without ever fighting Illidan or the Lich King or Deathwing. So,
Yes.
you know, like I had no information about them whatsoever. I was just kind of like, oh, now I'm in Outland. Oh, now there's lots of snow. Oh, now everything's on fire. You know,
Yes.
like it's just...
And that's the thing is the raids give you so much more. They do. And it's for people who don't raid, it's almost a shame that they don't have that experience.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't read the books, go read all the books. Read Rise of the Horde and War Crimes. Totally just blanked on that for no reason. Before the expansion drops. And then, yeah. Yay, wow. We're going to be talking so much Blizzard tonight, guys. I can't even. And yeah, so go watch the conclusion. You too, Jules. Tisk.
I will. And
then you'll have to tweet me and tell me how many tears are falling down your face.
I know. I think I'm going to have to do that after this show, and I apologize for not being prepared for that.
No, it's fine.
I didn't know it was coming out today, and I'm like, crap.
It just came out. Like, it was, I think, probably a couple of hours before the show started, so it's not a big deal. Because you were on the awesome, amazing Current Geek, so no big deal.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So the other thing that has been going on in my gaming world over the last 2 days is the Road to BlizzCon Hearthstone tournament. So I don't know if you guys are watching this, and I'm sure we're probably going to talk about it quite a lot on Monday, but oh my God, the talent, the players, and the commentary is, I've never watched a better tournament. It has been insane. It's like full of people who are... Some of them are known, some of them are relatively unknown, and like the unknown players are rolling the well-known players, and you're just like, oh my God. And some of them don't stream, so you're getting to see them play in some cases for like the first time. Wow. And it's so interesting because you're just like, oh my God, there's all these different kind of thought processes going on in these unknown players. You're just like, I never would have thought. Even the commentators are like, I didn't even see that play, like, because they're so used to the same stuff from the same streamers. Yeah. So, oh my God, it is the most interesting thing ever. I actually got a text from my cellular provider today because they shut my data off on my phone because they're like, you have racked up $50 worth of data charges. All right, you must go to our website and hit accept. And I was like, yes, I want to watch Hearthstone on the bus. I need to know what's happening. Like... I will pay you all the dollars. Just give me Hearthstone. Give me this tournament.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, dude,
it's so good. Like, I can't turn it off.
So tell me, like, so what I've experienced with Hearthstone in my own play and listening to the Angry Chicken, I think that there's a lot of people who are just using the same stuff, the same decks, the same styles, the same plays. It's like this is predicting this play to this play. And so are these tournaments like something you've not even seen anything before?
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff. There was a big kind of mix-up when Naxxramas came out because we had that infusion of cards. The cards had all been the same prior to that, with a couple of exceptions that they just kind of tweaked. But this was the first big set of new cards, so there's a lot of different decks that are coming out now, and especially where you have some players, because basically how you got into this Road to BlizzCon tournament, there were a few different little qualifying tournaments, but the main pool of players came from anyone who ranked from 1 to 16 on the ladder in any season from season 1 until not this past one. So I think there was 4 or 5. Oh God, guys, I'm sorry. I should totally know that. Yeah, anyways, 4 or 5 seasons worth of the top 16 players from the ladder got to go in, and then say if the same person was rank 1 for 3 seasons, then, you know, the next 2 seasons they would take like 2 to 17, so that they always had 16 players come out of each season without duplicates. So
Sure.
we got to see a lot of people who don't necessarily stream, who don't necessarily put their decks out there for everyone to see, who are a little bit more quiet and reserved. This one that's on right now is the European finals, so the North American finals are to follow. And it's just so refreshing to watch. There's these people with these really, really cool strategies. They're all nice.
Yeah.
The commentators are so professional. I tweeted out earlier because, I mean, it was 2 a.m. for them. They're still going. They only just started the final pool. So, I mean, like, they're going to be going forever and ever. They're been so professional. So Artosis has been casting, and when I was watching this afternoon, Savitz was casting with him, and he actually was the one who won our Angry Chicken Invitational back in January.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd had a couple back and forths with him just through email to kind of set up the tournament and divvy out the prizes and stuff like that. And he's just so polite and so nice. And then they're so professional on the stream. They're talking about like, well, he could do this or this or this or this, and giving tips and stuff and saying, like, fully explaining everything. And I'm just like, but completely professional. And I'm just like, it's not hard, guys. Look at this. Like, it's so fun to listen to.
That is so cool. And I love that Hearthstone, of all things, is becoming an esport.
Yes.
And it's becoming
so
a very
intense.
Yeah. And I watched just in the beginning, I watched a couple of kind of the top streamers do battle against each other, like way in the beginning when the beta was still out there, and how fast they were and how amazingly quick they could think of what the next move would be against that. Oh my God. I feel like I'm a complete noob. I am a complete noob.
Actually, that's another thing, and thanks for bringing it up because I didn't even think to mention it. But what I have noticed, 9 times out of 10 in this tournament, they take the full entire time of the turn to make their move. Like, they sit there and they stare at it, and the commentators talk about all the different possibilities and what they think the best choice is. And, you know, like, and the streamers just sit there or I guess they're not streaming, they're playing. The players just sit there and they think and they think and they think. And then when they make their move, it's pretty quick. But, you know, like, the commentators have been talking it through. So it's just like, man, oh man, I'm learning so much by watching these people. Like, and they're trying so hard because obviously the prize is a trip to BlizzCon, and the prize at BlizzCon for coming in first is like $100,000. So they're taking it very, very seriously. Yeah. And it's an entirely different experience than watching somebody just like sitting in their studio and streaming. It's so, so cool.
That is really neat, and it's making me want to catch it. There's going to be more going on this weekend, right?
Yes, yeah. So they are, I believe that the top 4 go to BlizzCon. Yeah. So at the end of today, they will have the top 8. So I think they have to have one more day, I think. I really should have looked this up ahead of time.
No, I'm putting you on the spot here. But I know it was twitch.tv/playhearthstone was the link that I was seeing all day on Twitter. So
yeah, and if you want
I may check this out.
If you want to engage with people and talk about the tournament, then the hashtag is just Road to BlizzCon. And there's a lot of really cool comments out there. And I really suggest hiding the Twitch chat because it's absolutely ridiculous. There are 70,000 people watching, and it's just, it goes by too fast to read. And even if you could read it, you wouldn't want to. So just hide the chat and just watch the stream as if you were watching TV, and you will enjoy it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I tried to read it, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, within, I think, probably about 10 seconds, there were really, really trolly messages talking about the sexuality of the casters and the players. There were messages about comparing whose nude pics would be better of some of the female streamers, and then there were just like all of those little like faces and salt emoticons and just all that trash, and I was just like, oh, okay, I don't even need to. No. Oh yeah, full of trolls. Thank you, Sparky. Definitely full of trolls.
Yeah.
So anyways, but the actual game and the commentary is fantastic. I am just blown away. I'm having so much fun watching it. As much as I love Gamers In and Jules, and I'm going to be on Azeroth Roundtable later, I'm just like, I want to be watching. I'm missing it right now.
I need to see what happened.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for what we're playing. Jules, what have you been playing? Anything that you want to weigh in about?
Basically, it's been World of Warcraft and Heroes of the Storm have been my two.
Why don't you talk about Heroes a bit? Because I can't get into this game. I've tried so hard, but Smite has just won my MOBA heart. I can't play anything else because I play a game in any other MOBA and then I'm just like, or Smite.
Or Smite, please. I have Smite downloaded on my computer. I haven't opened it yet. Because literally we were going to be playing with a group of friends and then they decided to play something else.
I play literally 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh, geez. So maybe I need to play with you.
Yes.
So because I need to figure this game out. But actually, my very first MOBA experience was with Heroes of the Storm, and obviously it's been a learning experience for me, but I really enjoy it. And so a couple weeks ago, my friend who I've been playing WoW with for almost 8 years, I raided with him back in Burning Crusade. He happened to be coming to Chicago, which I live in Madison, Wisconsin. And so he was coming to Chicago for work. And then he needed to stay over the weekend, or he could stay over the weekend. And so he came up here to visit. And he's from Atlanta. So he came up here, brought his laptop with him, and we played a whole bunch of Heroes of the Storm, like in like a LAN party setting.
That's
was
so cool.
Awesome. It was awesome. So I played the tutorial. I played a couple times with a couple of friends, and it just didn't really hook me until my friend was here. And then I was like, this game I get it now. I get what it means to do this. I get the lane theory. I get you've got to do the different things in order to make sure that you win, because you can't just push lanes and expect that you're going to win. And so I got a chance. I had earned a bunch of gold from different just attempts of playing, and then they wiped things and they put the gold back in my account. And so I'm like, well, I'll go buy Lily. Let's go try Lily. And that was it. I was done. I was hooked.
Garrett,
she's awesome.
If he's listening, is currently like throwing his iPod across the room. Lily!
Because she's a beast. She is crazy. She's a healer. She speeds things up, and she gives you a little dragon. So if you're a DPSer, she gives you a little dragon that's going to shoot things for you.
Ooh, I like dragons.
Yes, the dragons are super cute, by the way. So but yeah, but the game to me is so much more fun if you are playing with friends that you can talk to through voice, because you can coordinate and you can figure out what to do. And so I've played with a bunch of my WoW friends, just grouping up. And it has been so much fun. And I can't get enough. I love it. I will actually just be like, can we just do one match? Can we just do one match tonight? Because it's really fun.
And
then I get tired and I need to go to sleep.
If I had a group of 5, I would probably be okay, as long as those 5 were not like Garrett, Dills, and Kyle from ITN. I'd just be like, no, you guys know too much. No. So
you gotta have friends who know and are okay,
but
with,
are
like
down at my level.
Yes, so they're okay teaching you how to do it. It's the hardest part.
Garrett has been so fantastic because he's tried to play with me 2 or 3 times, and he's very patient and walks me through it. And I'm literally like, especially I find jumping between WoW to Smite to Heroes, the change in controls, I'm just like, oh man, I meant to press this to go here, and I ended up doing that thing, and like everything's completely different. So there's always that learning curve. Every single time I sit down in front of the computer, it's like, no, wait, not that rotation. I need to do this rotation, and you know.
And then you go back to WoW and you try to click to move, and it doesn't work.
Exactly. So but I'm just like, he's been so good with and patient with trying to show me, but we've always been just the 2 of us with another group of 3. And so the 2 of us are talking, but not to the rest of the team, and it's fine, and we've won more than we've lost, and he's been really patient, but the Garrett rage is real.
Oh, I've seen the Garrett rage.
Yeah.
I saw it in person at Nerdtacular,
Yeah.
and it is real.
It is so
the
real.
hype is real, people.
Yeah.
But you know what? Get it if you can. If there are a couple of friends who want to just kind of pull together, actually next week they're going to be shutting the game down for an entire week, and then they're going to bring it back in so that your BattleNet friends are going to be part of this. So anybody who can play Heroes with you, you can get them in through BattleNet.
Oh, that's going to be so much better, because that I also find was the biggest thing is I didn't know who had heroes. I have no idea what most of my friends' battle tags are. And like maintaining 2 different lists of friends, I was just like, ugh. I was like, in the end, I ended up with like, I think Garrett and Dills and like 2 other people on my heroes friends list. And I was just like, this isn't even enough to like make a full team, and you're never all on at the same time. But I know when I go to my BattleNet list, I'm like, oh my God, there's like 15 people playing in heroes right now. Why are you just,
I know. And so, yeah, it is a little bit hard because it's been an alpha, but I think they're going to be bringing a whole lot more people into the game if you aren't in it. So look out, because it looks like it's coming.
Yep. Oh, that's so exciting. I should try to get back into it again. But then
I'll help you out. Come play with us.
Okay, good. All right, you come play Smite with me, and I will come play Heroes with you. Deal?
I may have to bring reinforcements for Smite. We'll just have to bring some people in with us.
Oh, no, that's fine. Oh, I have tons of Smite friends who are in the very same sort of like, as much as I play, every single MOBA is a huge learning experience. We play exclusively Assault, and that gives you a random god every time. So we just jump in with a random god and we figure it out.
Yes.
And it's just one lane and all you have to do is kill the other guy. It's so much fun.
I'm down with that. You know, not a lot of complexity. Just push the lane and kill. I'm cool.
And that's the other thing, is that you can set it up ahead of time and tell it what order you want your skills to level up in, and you can tell it what items you want it to buy, and then you just hit auto buy and auto level, and you don't even have to think about it for the whole entire game. So you can just jump in and kill people, which is like the best.
Easy mode.
Exactly. And you can either use the default build, because it'll just automatically build for you if you want, or you can, put your own build in. It's like building a deck in Hearthstone, like you go in there, you figure out what items you want, and then you just say, okay, do this, then this, then this, then this, go. And then you don't have to do it in game, which is my least favorite part of any other MOBA that I've ever played, is when stuff starts popping up. It's like, what do you want to pick? I'm like, I don't know. Someone's shooting me in the face.
Can I just run away now? Can you just tell me what I need to pick? Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the reasons that I love Smite.
Good.
So yeah, now we're gonna move on here, and before we do, I just very, very quickly wanted to say that Ryan and I really appreciate your continued support of our show, along with the support of our sponsor, Doghouse Systems. If you use the code TheGamersIn to double your RAM, you can use the code TheGamersIn. Jeez, I'm so out of practice. Oh my God! And Ryan rewrote this, and it's totally wrong.
It's Ryan speak.
I know. I forgot to go through and change all the things. So I'm like, oh, Jocelyn and I really appreciate. Wait a minute. I am Jocelyn. Anyways.
He might have been drinking a little bit.
Yeah, well, there's that as well. So if you'd like to double your RAM when you purchase a new gaming rig, you can do so by using the code TheGamersIn. Head on over to doghousesystems.com and get your order on. That brings us to our topic this week, which is the cancellation of Titan. I warned you guys it was going to be super Blizzard heavy. You were warned. So Titan basically was Blizzard's project that's been kind of not necessarily on again, off again, but has been going on in one form or another for 7 years now, and was supposed to be the next gen MMO, correct? Jules knows all the things, guys, so I'm probably going to just be like, right?
Yes, and the thing about this is that Titan was not actually officially announced to anybody.
Right. It was never an official thing, which is the weirdest thing ever. It's like it has a code name and everyone knows what it is, but it's not officially official.
Yeah, because Blizzard, they had to answer questions of, well, what are you working on now? What is your next plans? What do you plan on doing in your future? And so I don't even know, honestly, how the information started to come out about that there was this new MMO. And I think that they might have just let a couple things slip, but not in any official press releasey capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and of course the fans jump all over that, and it shows up
Of
on every
course.
blog and every podcast, and everybody talks about it.
So then, did we have any sort of idea of what it was going to be? Because I've seen people say it was going to be like a first-person shooter type MMO. I've seen people say it was going to be in space.
Yeah, and actually there was a I have to go look it up now because someone put it out in Current Geek
Sorry,
tonight.
again,
I saw it go
I didn't
past.
mean to put you on the spot there.
Was supposed to be. Because I know that someone had it up in there. Blizzard cancels. It was a game. It was from Polygon, and I'll have to look it up in there. What I saw when it scrolled past during Current Geek today is that it was supposed to be some kind of a space related entity where
but not StarCraft.
It wasn't StarCraft.
Yeah.
No, it was like that the aliens had invaded Earth, and it was after that point where you were going to exist in this universe of a post-apocalyptic Earth. So it wasn't space, but it was sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
And there were factions, obviously, for the whole thing.
Obviously.
But yeah, that's about what we knew for what Titan was supposed to be. And I will keep digging and see if I can find it as we're talking. But the thing about it was that it never actually came out to be an announcement. And then they went to Polygon.com and they actually had a full interview with Mike Morhaime and with Chris Metzen to explain why this didn't go.
Yeah, which I found very, very interesting. We were talking about it a little bit before the show, and I was saying, I've been a little bit busy this last week for multiple reasons, but I had read some of Polygon's articles. I did read all the quotes, and I was just like, man, oh man, some of the things that they're saying, because everyone's just like, oh, this is the Blizzard's going under, WoW subs are down, this is the most awful thing ever. And, some of the comments that came out of that interview, I was just like, oh my god, like Hearthstone literally like changed the way Blizzard looked at games. Like, oh my god, I could not love this game more.
Yes. And so, oh, here it is. Everything we knew about Blizzard's canceled MMO Titan. It is a let me scan this really quick because I know I saw this kind of fly past me.
I was gonna say, if you throw it in the notes, I can throw it in the chat room.
Yeah, and actually I can pop it in there too. Can I link? Am I allowed to link? Yeah, I can. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
I didn't know if I could or not.
Oh no, wait, I don't think it worked. I'll mod you though. It'll be fine.
Okay, all right. And so in any case, that's the link about what Titan was supposed to be. What I found really interesting is that people were like, oh my god, what does this mean for Blizzard? Oh my god, what does this mean for the future of MMOs? There was a couple things that really struck me. And it kind of got me thinking about the whole thing in general about what an MMO is and what it is to be a game company to develop them. And it really feels like everybody's been trying to hit that magic thing, that magic formula. The thing is going to make an MMO last for 10 years and be as popular as World of Warcraft, and they haven't been able to do it. I mean, there are MMOs that have been out there. You talk about EverQuest, you talk about Star Wars Galaxies, you talk about places that people have begun to be like, oh, I got my start here. I started in City of Heroes, which is no longer in existence. And but it lasted for about 7-8 years, I want to say. And the thing about an MMO is that people come out with these new ones. People get very excited about these new ones. You talk about Elder Scrolls, you talk about Rift, people are Star Wars, all the Star Wars stuff. They were like, oh my god, this is going to be it. This is going to be, Knights of the Old Republic is going to blow everything away. And they started out like 1 million people subscribing right off the bat, and then it fell apart.
Yes.
So I look at it and I'm really starting to wonder if there is no more opportunity to find the MMO formula that works any better than World of Warcraft.
Well, and I mean, like Ryan and I have talked about this before on the show because I got really into Elder Scrolls and then I tried WildStar and I just basically just didn't have the time, and all my friends are in WoW, and I find, for me at least, more than anything else, and I'm a big Elder Scrolls fan. I've been playing since probably like 2002. and but in a single player environment, which sometimes you really like to just kind of sit down on the couch and play by yourself, because so
Yeah.
many of the things that we have now are multiplayer online, and it's just like, you know what? No, I just kind of want to sit down and play on my couch. So I mean, I put like 150 hours into Skyrim. It was freaking awesome. I
Hmm.
really liked Elder Scrolls Online, but I just didn't want to play another MMO. It's too big of a commitment. So I find for me in WoW, it has my friends and it has the world, like the lore. I love it. Absolutely love it. We talked about it earlier. So, I mean, that to me is what the draw is to WoW. Everyone's already invested in it. And I don't really think you need to make a WoW killer or make another WoW, like especially Blizzard. Like I can see other companies trying to grab a piece of that market,
Sure.
but I don't really think that there's any reason that Blizzard needs to make another MMO. Every single game that they have now fits into a different genre. They have
Yeah.
Diablo, which is the dungeon crawler. They have StarCraft, which is their RTS. Then they have the MMO, they have the card game, and then they have Heroes, which is their MOBA, right? So
Yep. Yeah.
they've done what Blizzard does best, which is they take an existing concept, or well, in some cases make a new concept, but you know, like they take a thing, they Blizzardize it, they do betas that are better than some people's full-on games, and they polish it. They have fantastic artists, they have great stories, they have great writers, all the rest of it, and they do it and they rock it. And yeah, I'm a fangirl, but I'm a fangirl for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't really think that they need to cannibalize WoW. I would much rather see them doing like what they're doing in Warlords, where they're building new character models. You know, like just keep expanding on this world that everybody already loves and
Yeah.
just go with it.
Yeah. I think if anything, my prediction is that Blizzard is going to work on a kind of WoW 2, a sequel to
Yeah.
what they've already done,
But I think that they
because
can just do that with expansions. Like, I don't know if
yes,
they actually have to do like World of Warcraft 2. I think they can just keep WoW going.
they could. And I think that there have been talks in the past, and Cataclysm kind of strongly addressed this about how to build today's technology on a 10-year-old engine.
Hmm.
And so they did a lot of that changeover. They're still doing a lot of that changeover with Warlords, but there are some things that are still a little bit more clunky to be
Yes.
able to do and WoW, that, and they're talking about that with the character model. So it's like, it's not just as easy to just put some new polygons on the model. You've got to do the whole structural change.
Which
You've got
is,
to make them animated. You got
hmm,
to change it.
yeah. And then they also basically well, not basically, and not all the only reason why, but I mean, in Warlords, they redid how it, and I'm probably going to totally butcher this, but there's all like the background code and the engine that it's built on, and they essentially like dismantled that, and now they can patch on the fly and do all these
Yes.
super cool things that games in general can just do now. But 10 years ago, that was not something you could do. The technology just didn't exist. So basically, they've had to put all this background tech into a 10-year-old game, plus all the pretty things that we get to see on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a huge undertaking. It's awesome. I'm really glad they're doing it. And I think that they can keep doing things like that every 2 or 3 expansions, every 5 years or something, upgrade the background. And I'm
Yep.
willing to pay more for that. So I think it's freaking awesome. I'm super stoked.
Yeah. Me too. And I've put in almost 9 years into this game. I have never had this experience with any game that I wanted to stay with for this long and
Hmm.
enjoyed. I have never taken a hiatus from WoW. My game time may have
Nice.
slowed just a little bit, but I've never taken a hiatus from it.
Hmm.
It's because it's been a part of my life. It's a part of my husband's life. We
Yeah.
play it together. And
Aw.
so yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, we started the game together. He's the one that got me into it.
Hmm.
And so and like, if you look at from where it started to what it is now, when I'm involved with the things that I'm involved with the podcasting, and also doing leadership in a mega guild. I
Hmm.
mean, there are so many facets of my life that intertwine in it, which is why I do so much with the community side of
Hmm.
it. But I do genuinely love to play.
Yeah.
And I don't get enough time to do it a lot of times, but I do. I just love the game. I want to see what they want to do with it. And I've pretty much played every Blizzard game except StarCraft. I tried the demo and didn't like it.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
But the story is so good. And again,
See,
like,
now
I mean,
that part, yes. I haven't actually. I should just do it for the story because I'm
should.
RTS games are not my thing.
They weren't so much my thing either. The only one I ever really played start to finish and got super into, although not in any kind of multiplayer. I don't even know if it had a multiplayer. Probably did, but Battle for Middle Earth, probably 2005-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I just played the crap out of that game. I loved it. And that was like when I was still doing my like, I wasn't necessarily a closet gamer, but none of my friends were gamers. I was too quiet to ever think about playing multiplayer or anything or going online at all. So basically, I just like literally just played in my bedroom and like was really, really quiet, never talked to anybody about it. Didn't even know like different genres of games, or like when people would say like, "Oh, do you like RTSs?" I'm like, "Oh, what is that?"
What is that?
And then it turns out like, oh, I actually like sat in my basement and played it for like 8 hours a day, 7 days a week for like 3 years. So it turns out, yes, I do actually like RTSs. I just didn't know what it was called. So
that part is the funniest thing about playing games and being afraid to talk about it. And playing an MMO, I thought it was outlandish that you would pay $15 a month to play a game.
Yeah.
And when that idea was first floated to me, I was like, "Oh no, I would never."
Why would you do that? And well, that's the reason it took me so long to even get into WoW, is because I must have picked WoW up 100,000 times. Like literally every single time I would go into like a gaming store, like Future Shop or whatever, and just kind of like sneak over to the video game section and have everybody look at me funny. And, like I would pick up WoW and I'd flip it over and I'd be like, oh, right, this is the one I have to go online and talk to people. Okay. And then I'd walk away, and then like every single time, it's just the box art was so great and the concept was so cool and they really tried to draw you in, and I would pick it up and I'd just be like, oh, right, people. Ugh. Massively multiplayer. Ugh.
I don't like people.
Yeah, this is like WoW confessions time right now.
I know, but it is such a cool thing to be able to say that you play games. And now being a female gamer is still, it's not the easiest thing in the world to say, but it's getting better, and I stay optimistic about that. I mean, the silly joke about girls don't play WoW is in every trade chat of every thing that you go to, but at the same time, I just love the opportunity to play games with people, with other women, with everybody. Mm-hmm. It's just it's changing everything. And with the days when I was playing Tomb Raider when it was first new, and I'm like, nobody talked about Tomb Raider. It's like, talk about Tomb Raider. But but I loved it. I love that game, and I remember playing that and being like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Playing Myst and all those things, and you're just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Why don't everybody do this?
Yeah, my other drug of choice was The Sims. So
gosh, yes.
One way or the other.
Oh god, I used to import music into The Sims, so I'd play my music like background in there, and I'd be like,
nerd.
Such a nerd. I love
God.
It. That's awesome. I love hearing people's stories about how they got into gaming, how they started to do it, how they found people to play with. I mean, and it's how I found you. I mean, that's how I met you, is because we were going to a nerdtacular talking about video games, and it was just like, this is the coolest thing.
It absolutely was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to Titan being canceled.
Anyway, so okay. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about in relation to Titan, and it's kind of relation to the video game industry in general. I find that it's very fascinating when you talk about something that's a product that's being canceled and not being put out after 7 years of development. But think about what it means to develop something for 7 years and say, we didn't find the fun. Mm-hmm. When you talk about a video,
they're so successful that they can just say, you know what? We tried, but the last 7 years, we're just gonna, we're good. It's like, we don't even have to. We've put so much time and effort and manpower and all the rest of it into this title. We're just going to check it because we're so successful that we can. Like,
Yes. But it also shows a very, very high sense of humility, in my opinion, because if you can step yourself back from working 7 years and having your head down and being like, these are our plans, we've written it down, it's going to be this way, we're going to do this. And somebody pipes up in a meeting one day and says, guys, we really need to talk about the whole concept of what we've been doing for the last 7 years. And that discussion, most places, you talk about entertainment in general, a crappy movie that's being pushed through because the investors expect that you're going to put it out there. Something else in the entertainment industry. I mean, most other video game companies, they've got money backing it. They've got to put it out. They've got the commitments. They've got to do it. But Blizzard can stop and say, guys, are we still on the same vision that we had 7 years ago or 5 years ago? And if they say no, that they could make that decision to say, this is not what we do. That is, to me, and then I know I'm going to sound like a Blizzard fangirl here, but I have huge respect for that. Yeah. Like, when you stop and you say, in anything in life, is this fun anymore?
Yeah, and Josh and Sparky actually make a really good point in the chat room right now. They're saying that, it's not a complete and total loss because nobody actually knows what the Titan story is, so they could use it in a different game. So they could turn it around. Sparky says you'd make it into a first-person shooter, like an actual first-person shooter, not a FPS MMO or whatever, whatever crazy hybrid they were thinking about. But, like they could still do a lot with what they've done, but they, just shelve it for now till you figure it out, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And it makes me, I think about how video games they have it pretty rough when you think about it in the whole kind of encompassing sense. You work super hard to create this amazing product that you're super proud of. You put it out there, you get the feedback and the accolades, and people go nuts over it, and they eat it up and they talk about it and they tell their friends and they finish it. And then they say, well, what do you got for me next?
Yeah. It's so true. And especially, like, I'm thinking BioShock Infinite, Mass Effect 3. Well, I mean, Mass Effect 3 for me, I blew through that game in probably 3 days, and I ended up playing multiplayer. But, I just wanted to know the end. Like, I was literally sleeping for an hour. I would come home from work. I would play for like 10 hours. I'd go to sleep, and I'd wake up, and I'd go back to work. And it was just, like, constant for 3 to 4 days just to get through that story. And then I was like, oh, but now it's over.
It's done. I finished it, and I wanted to know what it was so bad, and now what do I do?
Yeah, and it's just like, if you put 4 or 5 years of development into a game and someone finishes it in 4 days, it's like, that must be so demoralizing. Like, what do you mean, what else? It hasn't even been a week since this thing.
And that's the thing is, like, you talk about people. So, and there's been so much talk about how they did Mists of Pandaria, how they released the content, and how quickly it came out. And for me, I was a raider during the time, and I couldn't get through the content fast enough before they put something else out. And then it all came to a screeching halt after Siege of Orgrimmar, and they're like, yeah, by the way, we're not ready to give you anything more yet. And you're like, well, wait. You set this up for me. And people, and I understand all the QQ. I understand why there were people who were out there would be like, oh my God, Blizzard, what the fuck? So sorry. I don't mean to swear, but.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine.
But that's what people are doing all over the internet. And they're just like, what are you doing, Blizzard? What are you doing? Why aren't you giving me more stuff to play? Yeah. And they're out there saying, guys, we're working on it. We're getting it. Yeah. So it's just, I look at it and I say, the video game, I don't know if I would ever want to work for a video game developer, because literally you get 5 minutes to celebrate and you're like, okay.
You're not even done eating your cake, and people are just like, okay, I'm done with that. Why are you eating cake? What is going on right now?
You better be on your chair.
Why aren't you writing code?
I was listening to the Angry Chicken episode when you guys were talking about the pre-release before Naxxramas and how they had all gone on a camping trip.
Yeah.
And how people were just like, oh my God, how could you do this? You're supposed
we want Nax. Why are you camping? Oh, God, yeah.
And so I totally get it. But this, to me, speaks volumes of their company's integrity, and the fact that they could, I mean, it's going to cost people their jobs. You know this. You know people lost their jobs about this.
I don't think that they've actually released any numbers, have they, of people who, because I mean, and maybe this is just because I'm such a fangirl, but I mean, like right now they've got most of the StarCraft team working on Heroes. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of wondering if maybe they shuffled a lot of people over onto different projects. I mean, like Warlords is so big and there's so much to do there that they're not releasing the Blood Elf model with the expansion. You know, like, so it's not like there's a lack of work at Blizzard. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
wondering if maybe they've put, especially where Titan was rumored to be an MMO, maybe they've shuffled people over to Warlords.
Sure.
Because that's one thing I haven't seen is, you know, any sort of job loss numbers. It's not like Blizzard came out and said, you know what, we've canceled this project and as a result we're eliminating 50 jobs or anything like that. So I'm kind of wondering it, because I mean, obviously there was no real like marketing, PR, community management, like none of those roles. Like it would have mostly been like programmers, writers, graphics people.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they just got shuffled into other places in Blizzard. It would be interesting.
That's actually a really good point. And I think honestly, when they did the announcement that they were regrouping and there was shuffling that was going around, people were moving around a little bit, and some of the news came out, some of it didn't.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any cause to worry about anything related to what's happening. Blizzard is as strong as it's ever been. I think the biggest thing people are going to have on their minds at the moment is what are they going to talk about at BlizzCon?
So what do you think that they're going to talk about at BlizzCon? Because I know what I want them to talk about at BlizzCon. I have a wish list.
Here's my prediction. There is going to be there's going to be high level news about Heroes of the Storm, because we got kind of that reveal. We are going to get news of the next expansion. They're going to tell us that at BlizzCon, and people are going to go, "Oh my god,
For
you
WoW?
didn't announce, you didn't release the other one yet,
okay,
but you're telling us about the new concept for it," because we already know that they're working on the new. They've already got the ideas that they're doing it for, so we get a preview about that. I would not be surprised if we don't get something that we haven't seen come from anywhere else. Maybe it's something repurposing the Titan thing. I don't know. Maybe that first person shooter that they've never done is coming.
Yep. So you think we're going to get a full-on new game announcement?
Yes.
Bold. I love it.
I know, I'm being very bold. No one's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Jules, you were so wrong." Like, what is that gonna cost me? I predicted.
Oh man, I know for me, I want to see, details on the next Hearthstone expansion. Obviously, we already know how many cards it's going to be, but I want to know like what kind of themes we're talking about. Are we getting new mechanics? Like I want all those crazy details. And then I want to see StarCraft news more than anything in my life, because they leave you with this gigantic cliffhanger at the end of Heart of the Swarm, and this, like I said, the story is intensely good, and I'm just like, I need it now. And I know that most of their people are working on Heroes, so I'm sure that probably what they're going to do is push Heroes out and then put them back on StarCraft, and hopefully we'll have our legacy soon. But man, oh man, I want information on that so badly.
Okay, and if that comes out, I think it probably would be the thing that might push me to start trying it out. I don't want to play against other players on StarCraft. I already know I suck at it, but
yeah,
I think I would.
Bronze, like level like 98-ish. It only goes down to 99. So there's like these little ladders of 100 people or 99 people. And so you move up or down through that. And I'm always like 98, 97 in my little 100-person ladder in Bronze League, which is the very bottom. I'm awful, but I love it.
Good. And that's what gaming is about. You just have to have fun. Enjoy what you're doing and enjoy it for what the time you're spending to do it.
Yep. And then I think, what else have we got? Heroes, Hearthstone, StarCraft. Oh, Diablo.
Yep. And I played a lot of Diablo 3 when they did the second patch in there. I played a lot of it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, when they did that Loot 2.0 thing,
yes.
I really enjoyed it. For probably about, I want to say like 3 or 4 weeks, I got a lot of playtime into Diablo. But I just don't get the grinding for loot thing. It just doesn't really appeal to me. The story, because I'm such a story-driven gamer that it's the same every time. You're playing through the exact same content. And just because the walls move doesn't necessarily equal infinite replayability to me. You know,
Right.
like I feel like I'm constantly like looking for my way through the dungeon. I don't remember the way that I went last time anyway. So, you know, it just feels like, oh, okay, this dungeon again, this story again,
Yep.
this boss again. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Dills and I were actually playing through it with seasonal characters.
Sure.
And we ended up, I think he was at like level 32 and I got to like level 17 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we played for probably like 3 or 4 hours. And by the end of it, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I would actually be okay with not playing this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I need
I
a
think
break now.
there's-
The 3 hours is enough, you know? And I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, it's the same stuff again.
It's a repetition thing. It's
Yeah.
cool, but yeah, I didn't. Once I did it a couple times, I was exactly the same as you. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need any more of this.
Which is
I
funny
don't.
because we'll grind WoW characters to 90 through the same dungeons and same quests.
Yeah, but I think the experience is a lot different because of the way that you know you've got to get to that end goal. You know you've got to get there. But then you can go into these dungeons and you're not doing like, you know, a 30-person run through a rift. You're actually going through and doing the dungeon content and getting it, and it's just
Yeah.
it is a very different experience. And raiding to me is just a challenge that I can't get enough of.
Yeah. And you know, it's really funny because I've never really been able to get into Diablo other than to just play it through to see the story. But I
Yeah.
really enjoyed Torchlight. It's weird because they're exactly the same. But I don't know.
And
for
I
some
couldn't get
reason...
into Torchlight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, dungeon crawlers aren't really my thing. But I'm so looking forward to BlizzCon because we're going to have the Hearthstone tournament. We're going to have you and me in person.
Yes, I can't wait to see you again.
Oh man, I am so stoked. There are so many people that I see at Nerdtacular every year. This is my first BlizzCon, so seeing some of these people twice in 1 year is just gonna make my head explode. I'm so stoked. And we are now like 5 weeks away, right?
Oh gosh, don't remind me. I have so much to do before BlizzCon. We
Which
have a
is so
party to
funny because
plan.
I'm just like, I'm just gonna go and drink and party and have fun.
Oh my gosh, I am heavy in the planning of the party that we're putting together for the Signals Media All-Star Network, and I'm just
Right.
like, oh my gosh, we are not done yet. We need to get this done. So yeah,
Slacker.
I know. We need people to give us some money.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much does it for us this week. I just wanted to take a quick second. We're not actually going to do listener feedback this week. My Skype was just ringing because I'm going to be on Azeroth the Roundtable in apparently about 30 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm really sorry if this feels like we're cutting it off short. I think we've run a little bit long, but Jules, you've been absolutely fantastic.
Thank
So I just wanted to very quickly say thank you to all the emails that we got. This is the first episode I've been back because I went away on vacation. So I really apologize because I meant to do a video before I went away. And guys, I was so swamped and so busy. I'm really, really sorry. But we got a lot of responses to our Gamergate episode. So Iagavos came on and we had a really balanced discussion with the information that we had at the time. And it was a really well-received show. We got a lot of emails from both sides. It's really interesting. I am going to do a response video to that outside of Gamers In. Hoping to get that done this weekend, so you guys can look for that. Thank you so much for all your emails. I could not believe we got emails from both sides, and every single one of them was respectful. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for that. The feedback was fantastic. So you guys rock, and I'm going to respond to every single one of those emails that we got in a video this weekend. So watch for that. I'm also going to do a video next week. Probably look for it Thursday or Friday-ish. Gonna explain some of the stuff that I've been busy with and going through and all the rest of it. I know I've been hinting at things and talking about things, and it's my podcast, so if I want to talk about my personal stuff, you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, so I'm gonna kind of let everybody in on what's been going on with me over the last like 6 weeks or so. So yeah, you guys can look for my Gamergate video this weekend and my more personal video later next week. So I'm excited for it. Thank you so much. Feedback has been fantastic. So I think that pretty much does it for us. So Jules, why don't you that, you know what? Don't rush it. If you don't want to rush it, don't rush it.
No, we gotta move. We gotta move.
Go, 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 go. Just really quickly, what is Tauren Think Tank again, and where can people contact you, find you, what's your Twitter, all that fun stuff?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at JulesRPG. And Tauren Think Tank is at Tauren Think Tank. We do a live show every Saturday night. And again, the show is World of Warcraft based, but it's about the MMO community and the players that are in it. So stop by, hang out with us. We do advice and discussion related to that kind of topic base. So easiest place to find me, though, is on Twitter, JulesRPG.
She's so much fun on Twitter. She'll always tweet you back. So that pretty much does it for us. You can visit us on the web at gamersinpodcast.com. You can also find us on amove.tv along with other fabulous podcasts, including Into the Nexus, Campaign Roundtable, Angry Chicken, and Amove Radio. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, you can do so. You can find me, Jocelyn, at GIS Gamer. Ryan is at R. Murphy, and don't forget to follow the show at The Gamers Inn. The video versions of all our episodes can be found on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Jocelyn Moffat. You can also find us on Facebook and Google+. If you'd like to email the show and let us know about... Ben, stop calling me!
We're doing a show here.
I'm almost wrapping it up. You're actually making it take longer. If you'd like to tell us your thoughts on Blizzard canceling Titan, or tell us what you're super stoked about for BlizzCon, you can email us at info@gamersinpodcast.com. So thanks very much, and remember, tune in next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks again, Jules. You rock.
Thank you for having me, Joss. And I'm
going to go do all of the stuff.
All the things. Thanks, chat room. It was good to see you guys.
Bye, chat room.